I'm going to talk for a little while. And I'm going to make a little follow-up on a video I made yesterday when I was talking about that the only thing that's true is letting go. And that's true. You know, life is a series of letting go of things. But, you know, it's more than just letting go. It's, you know, I mean, to me, I'm actually a happy person, I think. I'm not a depressed person. I used to be depressed a long time ago. And I used to suffer from really, really bad anxiety. And I realized that back in those days, the things that really made me depressed and anxious was to not let go of things. To try to hold on to ways of doing things and ways of thinking that just didn't work. And sometimes you hold on to relationships that don't work too. Sometimes things aren't working. You know, sometimes an ideal you have in a particular situation just doesn't work. I mean, I think it's important to be persistent with things. You know, I learned Spanish because I was persistent. I kept doing it. But I could see it moved forward, even if it was moving very slowly. You know, things happen in incremental steps, but you keep doing it. But sometimes you can see that something isn't working. Sometimes we know things aren't working. And we still hang on to that way because we don't want to let go of our ideal. We insist that it has to work. Just like we hang on to a relationship that just isn't working. We insist that it has to work. You know, it was made in heaven. It was made by the gods. We have to keep it going. And sometimes you just have to let it go. Sometimes there are always these ideals that just seem like they should work, but they don't. And that's when you have to let go. You have to let go of things. You have to say, no, that isn't working. You know. One thing is, and I'm going to say this, and I know that some people disagree with this whole community thing, but I just don't believe in trying to form a community. Because it's what just simply is. Communities simply naturally occur. They just simply are a sort of coincidental byproduct of something. It's not something you can actually create, in a sense. But it is created, so to speak. It's not something you can intentionally, maybe that's a better way to put it. You can't intentionally create it. It's unintended, even if it's a wonderful thing. If you happen to be in a wonderful community, it's not intentional. I've done a lot of things that were good, that were unintentional. They were things I wasn't trying to do or trying to create. I actually sort of created something like that in another job I was in, where people were being mistreated and all kind of bad things were going on. But I actually didn't sit down and think, I got to really do some great justice around here and change everything. No, I just did things I thought were simple, like little things that make life better. And it turned out that the little things I was doing turned out, in the context of the place I was in, was rather radical. Because no one did that. No one thought to be courteous to other people. No one thought to be helpful to other people. Well, very few people did it. I shouldn't say no one. No one thought to respect other people. And I was like I was seen in the eyes of some people as something of a revolutionary. And I wasn't. I was just being me. I was just being myself. And it kind of got to be nice and people liked me and everything. And in a certain way, I kind of wanted to hang on to that and just keep it going. But things changed. A lot of things changed in a good way. A lot of positive reforms happened because I started raising people's consciousness about things. But eventually I was pushed out of that job. And it was sad to leave. But I had to learn to let go of that and embrace the new job that I was in. I got used to that for a while. And then I moved on to some other place, because it's all in the same, place where I still work now. It's just, in different departments because there were budget cuts and issues, having to do with the state. And I'm at the place I'm at now and I'm comfortable with that. But I know that everything changes. I'm very close to retirement. Yes, I'm older. Some people say I don't look as old as I am. I'm 53, and I'll be 54 in a few months. But the thing is that things change. At some point I'll retire, and at some point, my health will eventually start to really go down, because I'm diabetic, and diabetics don't live as long as everybody else. Let's get real. You know, my mother, she'll be 80 tomorrow, as a matter of fact. She's diabetic. And the thing is that she's done real well. If I could live that age, I'd be happy, you know. Although, who knows, maybe I'll be miserable. One never knows how the future is going to be. We would like to hang on to an ideal. Again, that's that hanging on. Sometimes what I learned is the best thing to do is just to take every moment that you have right now and appreciate it. It's like a lesson we've all heard that a million times. But, you know, treasure this moment. Treasure right now. Treasure what good thing you got now. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to, you know, improve things. I'm always trying to improve. I'm making improvements. You know, I was just thinking about something. Here's my very first rock that I ever painted. This is my thing. Look at how a tree was back in those days. That was about 15 years ago. And I've improved at least the way I make a tree. If nothing more, I make trees a little bit better. Maybe not perfect. You know, maybe Rembrandt would still kind of frown at that, but it's an improvement. You can make improvements, but improvements happen step by step. They happen over time, and you do it, and things change. You know, you can't really be afraid of changes. You can't be afraid of letting go, because sometimes you have to let go. Because the only way you can really embrace new things is by letting go of old things. Things that you realize don't work. You have to step back and not become too attached to things. You really do. You know, it's important to let go of things. Sometimes an ideal doesn't work, and you have to realize it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't work for now. Maybe it'll work somewhere else, or whatever, or maybe it'll never work. But sometimes you can't move forward until you learn to let go. And it's just the fact. That's just the truth. You know, I know in the last video I must have sounded like I was depressed or something, but I wasn't, actually. And right now my eyes are kind of red, so I'm not drunk. It's just, I was scratching them and stuff. So, but that's all I have to say about that.